Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of IP Expo Europe. I'm Nikki Moore, and I'm going to be your host throughout the course of today. So we've got a packed program for you today. We've got some fantastic speakers lined up. First off, we're going to be hearing from Microsoft. They're going to be talking to us about Windows 10, which since its release in July has had a massive, phenomenal uptake. So I'd now like to introduce our speakers from Microsoft. We're going to be hearing from Robert Epstein, who is the Windows 10 launch lead, and Steve Newby, who is lead for enterprise for Windows 10. So please welcome to the stage Robert Epstein and Steve Newby.
Good morning and welcome. Today we want to talk to you about transformation. We know that transformation is happening all around us and that change is inevitable in this world, but making that change progress requires some kind of planning. At Microsoft, we are going under a massive transformation. Under our new CEO, Satya Nadella, we're innovating and we're partnering across our industry like never before. And we're focused on a very clear mission now, to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. And to do this, we're working around 3 clear goals. We want to create more personal computing, we want to transform productivity, and we want to build the intelligent cloud. So how do we help you transform not just your IT, but your organizations? How do we get back to delivering what IT was always supposed to be about, which was empowering users and helping them transform their organizations? I don't think we need to talk about necessarily doing more. I mean, who wants to get more done? Don't we all have really quite enough to do already? But what we want to do is to get people back to that ability to do the things they want to do in their lives. How much time do we all spend managing our IT? IT was supposed to be something that empowered us and gave us the time in our lives back. But actually, we all spend time transferring data from one device to another, updating our machines, refreshing systems, finding stuff on our machines. And we need to get back to not letting the IT control us. So how do we move from IT to IT being about innovation and transformation? Well, we're all very, very aware of the demands of users today. They all have more data, more apps, they're always connected, and they want to be the best. Part of the challenge, to some extent, is actually now users care. They want the best and the latest devices, even if it means they have to go out and pay for it themselves. They want to be connected everywhere, 24/7. They want the latest features, the shiniest new devices. And they want to blur. We all know that the boundaries between our personal lives and our work life are already completely blurred. And that means that users want access to all their information, all their data and their apps, whether it be for their personal lives or for their work lives, without having to carry two of each different device type. And so we need to think about, within that, the context of the problems that the IT departments are suffering today. We need to deliver the solutions that help drive this transformation, so we empower those users, but we've got to do it in a secure way. We all know that the demands on IT are huge, budgets are being cut, the security threats that we are under are ever more sophisticated and greater than they've ever been before. How can IT go back to being the hero rather than the frustration for users? At Microsoft, we're focused on these 3 big goals that we believe will be the solution, because IT is the intersection of these challenges, but IT will also be the future, the center of our lives. So we're transforming productivity. This is about bringing the Office apps to all platforms, mobile and to desktop, no matter what the desktop platform or the mobile platform. This is about bringing things like OneDrive and Skype that are both available for consumers and securely for the enterprise to all platforms so that users can have them on any device. But we've also got to figure out how to lower costs. We need to work with more personal computing that allows people to interact with their devices in a much more natural way, whether that be pen, voice, gesture, even gaze, as well as the obvious keyboard and mouse. And we're innovating on new device types like Surface Pro, Surface Book, Lumia phones, and even devices like HoloLens and our 85-inch Surface Hub, a great new collaboration tool. We're doing this with Windows 10. So we're creating more personal computing, enabling the mobility of the experience, not just of the device. A user wants to be able to get to all their data and all their apps, whichever device they want, and they want to pick up where they left off, no matter as they transition from place to place and from device to device. So we talk about the mobility of the experience, not just the mobility of the device itself. We've got to give them that natural interaction that I talked about, but we have to do this in a trusted way, particularly when people want to merge their business data and their personal data. They need to know they can get access to all of that, but know that all of that data is secure as well as always available to them. So we're doing this, as I said, on innovative new hardware, and we're doing this because Windows is provided as a service. And Windows has got to be loved by users, but also by the IT department. It's got to be easy for you to manage, to deploy, and to keep secure. So Windows 10 is driving this transformation. And it really is a transformation in Windows, from a package that's been delivered once every 3 years to something that will be continuously innovated and updated and delivered as a service. Windows 10 is available on all of these different types of devices, from Internet of Things, to phones, to tablets, to PCs, all-in-ones, and even Xbox and HoloLens. And we are the first platform to really have a truly consistent platform across all these device types. And this is important because it means for developers there's one development model. They can literally write an application once and deploy it to all these devices through a single store. That can be for both consumers and the enterprise through our new business store. It means we have one security model and one management model. So for the IT department, it becomes much easier to deploy, to manage, and keep secure. Because if IT is going to deliver this transformation to allow us to transform our organizations, then we have to start thinking about what the IT department can stop doing in order to focus on delivering that innovation. So, very quickly, Windows 10 has been received amazingly by users. In the first 2 months, we are already over 110 million devices running Windows 10. It's been warmly received by both press and analysts alike, and you can see some of the comments there. It really, as the launch lead for Windows 10, has been truly inspiring to work on. So just quickly, who's already running Windows 10 in some device in their life? That's great. As I expected, I would say over half of this audience. So we're not planning on showing you a deep demo of the Windows 10 user features today. But needless to say, any success for Windows 10 requires an operating system and a platform that users themselves are truly going to love. As I said, they are demanding more from the IT department, and we have to ensure that we are giving them what they want. So whilst I'm not going to go into a free demo, if you're not running Windows 10, please go home and download it today. It's available for non-enterprise customers on Windows 7 and 8 for free. But then you too can get to grips with what this new platform is going to offer. And we built this in an entirely new way. We made it publicly available a year before launch. And we now have over 7.5 million Windows insiders who are running the bleeding edge previews, giving us feedback through an application within the platform itself. And we're using that to tune every aspect and really listen to users and give them what they want. So the baseline, as I talked about, is the user experience. And that really starts with the Start menu, which is back and very much makes Windows 7 users feel at home and like experts right from the start. We have features like Cortana, your personal digital assistant, who proactively helps you in both your personal and work life. But as well as being voice-enabled across all devices, whether it be iPhones or Windows phones, tablets, PCs, and coming soon to Xbox, Cortana is the center of search, which you can type into via an always-available search box right at the heart of the UI. And that searches all the content on your machine and on your cloud drives to quickly get you to the data and content that you need. Microsoft Edge, our brand new browser, built for the modern web, fast and compatible with modern web standards, with great features like the ability to write and type markup web pages and share those easily. And again, search content within that website with one click by the integrated Cortana. You can seamlessly transition between tablets and tablet mode and desktop mode on great 2-in-1 devices using the Continuum feature. There's even now available on Windows phones, and Steve will show that to you a little later on. And of course, there's so much more. Great integration for consumers with things like Xbox and the ability to stream Xbox games to Windows 10 devices. Great, wonderful new universal apps that give you the same user experience as you transition between devices, because it literally is the same app and the same code running across phones, tablets, PCs, and all-in-ones. And much, much more. But what about the transformation for business? Well, that's based on 4 core pillars. Protection against modern security threats, which we all know have become increasingly sophisticated as those threats have moved from simply being hackers wanting notoriety to organized crime to, frankly, nation states. Windows needs to be managed for continuous innovation. So it's Windows as a service where we will help keep that system updated for you. It's about driving greater productivity through the user interface, through modern universal apps available on all platforms. And of course, as I've touched on already, enabling new devices. So with that as the introduction to Windows and its benefit to business, I'd like to introduce Steve Newby, who's going to deep dive into some of these and give you some demos.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Right, welcome everyone. So what we want to do today is, like Rob says, we're not going to talk about the UI, because most of you are familiar with that. What we want to talk about are the real underlying features of Windows. So, if this works, there we go. So, first option, security. The costs for businesses today are astronomical in terms of keeping devices up to date, managing those devices, and actually, we've got new technology in place. I'm sure a lot of you are already using things like System Center Configuration Manager, maybe third-party tools like Alteryx or Landesk. But actually, what we want to do here is we want to enable those really mobile users. So with Windows Update for Business, we can do that. Windows Update for Business is kind of like running WSOS in the cloud. What it means is you still control the policy for those users, but if they're out and about, if they're mobile, if they've got an internet connection, they're getting the updates you've defined at a business level. And you can control Windows Update for Business with the next version of Config Manager that's coming out this year. Secure Remote Connection allows me to specify a VPN connection for a device that's initiated by a specific app. So when I start the app on that device, it starts the VPN connection. And only that app can use the VPN connection. Password resets. This figure here around password resets, 30% of help desk costs. This is a Gartner figure. I work across a lot of enterprise customers. A lot of enterprise customers are actually saying to me it's much higher than 30% in terms of people forgetting their passwords. Passwords are a technology that's been around, well, almost since the start of computers. So what we've got is we've got a shareable secret with a password. Shareable secret means it's relatively easy to compromise, or it's relatively easy to forget. So you go on holiday, you come back, that's when you're phoning your help desk to do these password resets. So actually, we want to move away from this concept. You imagine I've got a user that's doing 2 password resets a year through their help desk. That's $25 in total for that user. If we can actually get rid of passwords, then we get rid of that cost out of the business. So what we're doing is we're introducing concept of biometrics. Biometrics allow us to do facial recognition, allow us to do fingerprint recognition, or even iris scanning. And this technology is built into the hardware that not only we're producing now, but some of our partners, our OEMs, are producing as well. So what I do is I use biometrics to unlock the device, and that unlocks the passport on the device. The passport stores a certificate that validates that device against network services. So all of the authentication is done locally on the device. At no point is a password sent across the network. And I'll show a bit of the biometrics. Enterprise data protection. I've got a bit of a rolling demo on enterprise data protection. But enterprise data protection is concepts that many of you have used mobile devices, use MDM technology today. They're concepts that you're familiar with already. It's about containerizing data on a device and isolating corporate data from your personal data. Within that corporate space, we can have trusted applications. And only those applications can access the data that's defined in that corporate space. And then we come on to the cost of cybercrime.